Well, Katie, you, as I understand, you've are always applying the lean concepts even to like personal matters and looking to develop not only businesses but people as well. And you use a lot of the lean principles to do that, and some of the lean tools as well, like the A3, right? So, can you talk a little bit more on how can lean help you coach people and help them develop them as human beings?
Sure. I at the end of the day, really, it's all about how we're continuing to develop ourselves and help develop other people to be better problem solvers, to be better leaders, to be better coaches, and to be better people. And many of the sort of the same tools that we use to solve or work on process-related problems can actually help us as well in terms of our self-improvement as well. So I was introduced many years ago to the concept of using A3 thinking, which I was familiar with working through organizational problems, either from an operational way or a strategic way, using that same framework of thinking to apply to myself and then to use that to coach other people. So really identifying what are the things that I do today, what's my current condition, what are my habits, my strengths, and maybe my limitations, and then what are the outcomes in the organization that I'm seeing as a result of what I'm doing. And then understanding like something I want to improve, what's a gap in terms of my own personal performance, and then really understanding what are some of the root causes for that. And it's really a process that helps create some self-awareness for yourself if you're going through the process yourself, or if you're coaching others, to help create that awareness of what's really going on, what are my triggers, and then you can practice some new patterns of behavior. And so that's really, it's just a helpful framework for creating new habits and creating a practice plan and going a little bit deeper into the thinking opposed to jumping to conclusions or making assumptions about the impact of our behavior or what we want to work on.
Okay, I love this. I wanna get to know this new framework
Yeah.
and start applying to
You
my
can check out
life.
my blog. I have some good resources there.
Perfect. All right. And something that you mentioned quite a few times, and I think that for me is the thing that I like the most in the lean philosophy is problem solving, right? And you work a lot developing people to be good problem solvers. In your vision, what is a good problem solver, and what are the competences that this person must have in order to achieve this?
That's a great question. I think many of us are intuitively, we get satisfaction from solving problems that are in front of us or in the organization. I think one of the challenges is that our human habit is to jump to conclusions and make assumptions. So we assume that we know what the problem actually is. We also assume what's actually causing the problem, and then we sort of make assumptions around, what's the solution, without really understanding that the root cause. And so we may be not really thinking as deeply as we need to in addressing what is an actual problem. So we need to start thinking a little more deeply and check our assumptions and know that what we've observed in the past in a complex situation may not actually be what's happening here right now in that situation.
And how do you foster these kind of habits in your clients or in the organizations you're working on? Because I know that a lot of the problem solving subject is intuitive and is somehow intrinsic to what we're saying, but some of this is like it's not that trivial. It's a little bit more complex, and you have to work that with your team, right? What is the advice you give to the leaders that are trying to create this capability within their teams?
First is to ask questions that start with what or how, to really understand what has happened, what's actually happening, what's the impact. Also ask questions, how does someone know that? So did they read it? Did they get a report? How have they validated what's actually happening? And asking those really humble inquiry questions, usually starting with what or how, can help elicit other people's thinking and bring that forward and help them think more deeply about what's going on. So when I teach problem solving workshops or classes or I'm coaching, I really focus on helping people ask better and deeper questions that aren't about their own personal assumptions and really helping bring forward the thinking of the other person. And that's how we start developing, hearing what's actually other people are thinking, and also helping them develop their skills in problem solving. And sometimes just asking questions isn't helpful and someone needs some teaching or some instruction on maybe, how to go about the process of solving a problem. But more often than not, we make assumptions about where their skill level is at. So asking those really open-ended questions is, to me, the number one advice that I would have.